Hey, welcome back to another episode of Million Dollar Maybes. I am excited to just be doing a second episode of this, mainly because I want to and I get to. So we're gonna dive in to it, and to be honest, taking a step back, I am a little bit nervous about today, about what we're gonna dive into here, because this is the stuff I am not good at. um, this is the stuff that I have always struggled with and found it difficult. Really the build process of software. I have, multiple stories from my life of not doing it well or trying to and failing to. I have a long history of trying to learn how to code and just not understanding it or not retaining it. I work with a lot of software developers. I work with some really cool full stack developers who are super talented and just blow me away all the time. But for me, it's just never clicked. And so a lot of my ideas kind of get stuck at the design stage where, I've designed it all in my head. A lot of what we dug into in that first episode, they get stuck there. And I don't know how to take them forward. But with the advent and just proliferation of AI and AI tools, there is a whole world of opportunity now. There's a whole world of tools that I can leverage myself as opposed to being dependent on other people. And I think that is really, really cool and is kind of a core thesis for me of why I'm doing Million Dollar Maybes. For me, it's getting to bring ideas to life by myself, um, just because of the speed I get to do it at. If I feel inspired in the middle of the day, I can just do it. And that's really, really awesome. I don't have to set up meetings. I don't have to wait on other people. I don't have to try and translate my vision to other people. It just allows me to dig in. And I think that is really, really awesome. The other thing is it allows me to do this, which is build in public. And I'm really excited about that. And today you get to, for better or for worse, watch me fumble my way through developing the project that we're talking about. So that's what we're going to do today. Diving back in, let's pull it up. Let's pull it back up where we left off. Where we left off was last episode, came up with an idea, or I came in with an idea and I named it Biz Name Checker. Not a great name. We're not trying to win any awards with it. We're not going to. We're trying to be a little obvious. It's just a project name, doesn't matter. But we dug into the three W's, and as a reminder, what those were, what's the problem that we're solving? Honestly, this was a pain point beforehand, and it's been a pain point ever since I recorded that video. So I'm more motivated to actually make this happen now. But the problem we're solving is really difficult and annoying, time consuming to pick a business name that is available everywhere. Domains, which are the URLs, social handles, and then state and federal registrations. It's really annoying to do this. I actually recorded a whole nother video on a different idea, business concept, a few days ago. And I just kept getting stuck on the business name. Um, and I did the same thing yesterday morning. I thought of a different business idea and I was like, oh, I've got the perfect name. It totally won't be taken. And it totally was. So that's the problem that we're solving because it's super annoying. Who has this problem? Aspiring entrepreneurs, people like me, people like you if you're watching this. And they're just trying to make things a reality. The example is my buddy Larry, and he's still struggling with it. And where can we find these people? Are they willing to pay? LinkedIn, stealth startup, Reddit, all that stuff. That's where we can find them. We define the MVP, which we'll be digging into a little bit more. And then we went through a 1-minute business model, basically like, hey, let's run the math on this thing real quick. What does it look like? How could we maybe monetize this? A lot of this came from ChatGPT. But anyways, what we're going to try and do today is we're going to just try and get an MVP stood up, meaning, build out the front end, see if it'll actually do a query, a search for the name, and then probably stop there. That's probably going to take a lot of time just because I have, again, no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, probably stop there. I don't think we're going to be able to get it live. Yeah, I really doubt that. So let's just set that as the goal of, we're just going to goals, stand up the back end, which is like a database or anything. Actually, before that, figure out where the heck we're going to build this. Figure out where the heck we're going to build this thing. And then stand up the back end and then get some sort of local, um, some sort of local functionality, we'll call it. Query the name for, let's say, domains and then socials. I think that's reasonable. It's reasonable to do. Heard of people doing this pretty quickly. I've watched videos actually. So I'm not like completely dumb, just mostly. All right, so we're gonna turn over to my assistant ChatGPT real quick. Let's see. I want to build a web app where people can search the business name, idea, and see if it is available via, or see if it is available, see if it has an available domain, social handles are available, and it is available for state and federal registration. I have no idea what I am doing. I am a beginner, so I need a lot of help and want to do this the fastest and cheapest way possible. Because you always get to pick two, right? Do you want it fast? Do you want it cheap? And do you want it done well? And we're just gonna go for fast and cheap today. Quality will follow eventually, maybe, possibly. Can you help me figure this out? And where to do it? All right. Well, it thinks of that. There's a couple. There's a couple AI applications for this that help build out. One is Replit, one is Lovable, and another is Bolt. I think Replit, Lovable, Bolt, Bolt AI. I'd love to watch Bolt the movie. Bolt.new. Let's see. Find the core features. We're looking to check domain availability, social handle availability, state and federal business registration. Yep. Pick your tech stack. Tech stack is like, what's the technology you're going to use? How's it all going to flow together? Because it's really just going to be like one simple thing, right? For someone new, use no code or low code tools to build the first version. So the web app builder, so Webflow, which is like web design stuff. backend APIs. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what half of that means. Oh, let's make it even simpler. Can I use something like Replit or Lovable or Bolt? Let's see what it says. Yes, you can absolutely use it to simplify this even further because I am a noob to the max. Comparison, low code, full code, no code. Let's see. Recommended route for you, start with Replit or Lovable. See, Replit starter pack, fast, flexible, free. Let's go with Lovable. They said it right here. Follow the steps to build a name checker app. Makes me feel like this already exists. We're here to learn. Forward march. Okay. Let's go to Lovable. I was already there. So that was a good thing I'm already here. Let's kill this guy. Let's kill this guy. Lovable. Let's sign up. Business name checker website that checks domain availability. Social media handle availability. Spelling's hard. And state and federal registration. All we're doing is checking. That's it, right? See where this thing goes. So it's building. All right. All right, we're back on Lovable here. Oh my gosh, it actually built it. Wow. What the heck? That was like I wrote one really terrible sentence and it did this. Guys, the future is wild. All right. Find and customize, tweak the design, master prompting, use clear, detailed, and iterative prompts, GitHub sync, debug with ease. So right now we don't have, yeah, this is just, this is really like a wireframe, like a nice filled in wireframe at the end of the day. I wonder if this thing works. Let's see. What was one I was thinking about yesterday? I'll give it away. Valhaus. Valhaus? Um, Valhaus sports recovery. It was like contrast therapy and stuff I was thinking about yesterday. I doubt all that's taken, actually. Let's say. Name cheap. It's my boy right here. Valhaus sports recovery. I'd be really surprised. Yeah, Valhaus sports recovery available. So, all right, so we're like back end wise not hooked up. I would have just been bewildered by that. Um, let's see. Should read this more closely. Let's make it more colorful. Let's make it more colorful and joyful. See where this goes. Because one of the things that I've heard you can do is kind of like revert back. So let's make it more colorful and joyful. And try and go for something that's less bland and a little bit more character, maybe? Let's see. All right, so it's using Tailwind. So Tailwind is like UI um, templates. So that's cool. I didn't even have to like tell it to do that. I guess sometimes I know a little bit more than I give off. Or I remember that I remember stuff. um, well, let's go back up here. GitHub sync, transfer project's code to GitHub for two-way sync edits. Debug with ease. Add project knowledge. Okay. And then so like one of the things, for us to like monetize it, well, this is kind of an assumption, I guess. But assuming to monetize it, we're gonna have to have user accounts. It's recommending Supabase to do that. So that might be necessary. We're just kind of letting this thing cook. Start from scratch. All right. We started from scratch. It went well. How do I hook it up to the internet? All right, this thing's still cooking. All good. Let's check back in actually on our goals. All right. So, goals for part 2. Figure out where the heck we're going to build this. That was easy. That was like 2 prompts from ChatGPT. So, check. Stand up the back end. I don't know. I don't think we did that. Maybe we did that. I'm going to have to ask Lovable if we did that. Get some sort of local functionality, create a name for domain. So we're not quite there. Build out simple front end. Check. All right, let's check back in on this guy. Boom! That is what I'm talking about. Find your perfect business name, instantly check domain availability, social media handles, and business registration status with one simple search. Dope. This looks incredible. I always love to, encourage the AI just in case. I'm just preparing for the end of the world. When the singularity hits, and I want them to know I was nice. That was nice. I was not the bully. This looks incredible. All right. I don't know actually how like chattable this thing is, so let's see. I feel like, for Lovable, it should be a fairly chatty AI, right? So glad you like the design, the color font. Blah, 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 blah. Now, this design is absolute perfection. Let's make it work now. Cool. Let's make it work. Seems reasonable, right? Um, third, you love it. Look at the existing code. How do we hook it up to the internet? APIs? I guess I can't. It's thinking. It's working. All right, so ChatGPT, what did you tell me? Oh, just click the publish button. Let's just hit publish. Um, let's manage that. Project settings, maybe? Rename the project. Biz Name Checker. Perfect. I bet that'll insert the slug. Yep. So now this is the subdomain, the lovable.app domain. So we can just post it there. David's Lovable. Nope. $1 million babies. What's up? Date. There we go. We're gonna publish this. Biznamechecker.lovable.app. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Okay. All right. Now we can click this. It's going to take us to it. Yes. All right. Let's see. Valhouse. Sports recovery. Oh, that is awesome. Oh man, that is freaking cool. Okay. Let's like double check this for sure real quick. So I'm going to open up an incognito mode. So this kind of makes sure that like if I'm signed into Lovable, it's not kind of like using it. It double checks that like if you were to go, you as the viewer were to go and check this right now, it would work. So let's see. Name checker.lovable.app. Find your perfect business name. It's another one. She needs something like halfway interesting. Oh, you know what? I should check one that I already own the domain of. Lycan Ventures. Yeah. So that isn't available. Because that's that. So, okay. So we have some debugging to do, which is okay. That's not a big deal. About. And I did not even remotely. Wow, I just kind of came up with pricing. Huh. Why did I bother doing anything in the first episode? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So that is awesome. The site is incredible. How do I hook it up to the internet with APIs? Make sure the data is correct. I tried a search on the published site and it showed domain is available even though it is not. See if this thing will debug itself, you know? Like, golly, freaking cool. And I did that, kind of, with my words. Yeah, I do want to connect it to real APIs. to get accurate domain and business name availability data rather than using mock data. Oh, I knew that. It told me it was using mock data. The mock availability check logic. Okay, I've updated the application to use real API checks instead of mock data. Here's what changed. Mock check availability function now makes real API calls to check domain availability using whois XML API and attempts simplified social media handles. For domains that can't be checked through APIs or API calls fail, system will fall back to the original mock data logic. Okay. Please note that for a production application, you would need paid API keys for a more reliable domain checking service. Okay, so we'd have to pay to access the data. The API is it's like a handshake, a handoff of data between systems, official API access to social media platforms, which we'd have to. It requires business verification, so like that makes sense. So you're not just like getting it pulled by anyone. API access to trademark and business registration databases. Okay. Okay. Well, that's awesome. We're gonna hit publish. We're gonna update it, and then let's go. We'll check the same one. We'll check Lycan Ventures, because that's one I own. So it should show up in whois XML. Lycan Ventures. Boom. Oh my gosh. That's weird. It's a New York LLC, a Delaware Corp. Should probably check into that because I am neither of those. Um, this is freaking awesome, guys. This is freaking cool. All right, so guys, if you were wondering, if you can do it, if you can build the app, if you can, do the coding, anything like that, I hope this is some form of encouragement to you because, like, I've never successfully built an app before, honestly. I've built web pages and stuff, but I loosely am aware of a lot of the concepts, and a lot of the kind of big keywords, but then like I don't know a lick of code. And all I did, was a handful of sentences. You saw it and created something that is pretty, pretty freaking cool. So man, this is awesome. I have no idea where to take this. Yeah, I do. I know exactly where to take this. So I think next steps, for part three. Let's see. Part three. Next steps. Let's see. What could we do? To-do list. Yes. Let's see. Figure out better brand. Register it. Figure out better brand. Register it. Launch the app. What else did it say? Um, launch the production now. Start hooking up the production. Start hooking up the production app. And then let's think through marketing. Marketing with AI. Because one of the things I really, really want to do is I want to like figure out how to build a really kick butt business that that can go into cruise control. Like how do I set up cruise control for businesses where it's just me and I just like get to check in on things. Like how do I do that? I just want to drive all the businesses. I want to create them and I just want to drive them and I just want to like figure out what's the formula. What's the repeatable formula leveraging AI and AI agents and all that stuff. Like how can I do that? So that is what we are going to work on in the next part, which I don't know how that's gonna go, but we're gonna figure it out because we're in it together, right? Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for watching another episode of Million Dollar Maybes. This is a real joy to get to be able to explore all the ideas, all the business ideas, and get to share some of my knowledge, some of my experience. You guys get to see what's going on kind of behind the scenes, some of the stuff that I've used from all of my experience and education. And you get to also just see me fumble my way through all this stuff. So I hope it's an encouragement. I enjoy doing this so far. So, if you liked it, like, subscribe, all those good things, leave a comment. If you think it's really terrible or I made a misstep or just different way I should have done it, let me know. Let me know in the comments. With that, it's been real. So we'll see you next time.